What's up, my know-it-alls? It's time for another Mr. Know-it-all Files. The Mr. Know-it-all Files is specifically where I take the opportunity to go onto Quora and Reddit and I look up your questions regarding various topics. And this one, we're going to go ahead and cover some more Star Trek questions. So you had an awful lot of Star Trek questions last time. We're going to cover some more this time. If you want to throw some questions our way yourself, and you don't want me searching and scrounging around for questions across the internet, leave a comment below. Ask your question there. I would love to answer it and love to talk with you and engage. So here we go. Computer, first question.
How would you compare and contrast Captain Kathryn Janeway from Star Trek Voyager with Hologram Janeway from Star Trek Prodigy, and now the appearance of Admiral Janeway in Prodigy?
I kind of already answered this question, but I'm going to go ahead and approach it from a slightly different angle. I feel like the captain in Voyager, it's going to be a hot take. I feel like we overglorify Voyager and we overglorify who Janeway is in that. But I do think there she was a much more compromising individual. I believe now she has kind of leaned into the mythology of who she is. So I think that as an admiral, I believe she is intelligently wrapping herself in the mythology of her position. That's okay. Everyone's done that. Kirk's done that. Everyone literally, you wrap yourself in what people think of you. And that's the end of that. So then you get into the question of, well, what about Janeway hologram? I think Janeway hologram has started with a template, but I believe through its own ability to learn and how, looking at the EMH, the doctor from Voyager, I think that the Janeway hologram would evolve on her own. And I believe we're going to get a scene eventually in Prodigy where Vice Admiral Janeway is going to actually be having a philosophical debate with the hologram Janeway. I think that's absolutely going to happen. That's my answer anyway. So comment below, let me know what you thought. What's the difference? What would you call the major differences between Captain Kathryn Janeway, Hologram Janeway, and Vice Admiral Janeway? And if you say she switched from coffee to tea, I'm just going to ban you. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally not. Because I think there's more meaningful answers than that. Anyway, all right, here we go. Computer, next question.
Could a portable holographic emitter create a working mass replicator able to replicate large real items?
Yes. Here goes the answer. So as a former chief engineer, I kind of do understand how the technology works. So remember, one of the things you have to understand is life for humanity changed when matter synthesizers became a reality. The minute you could make something from nothing, then want, hunger, any of those things all went away. And what you're left with is the human condition. And according to the utopian society set forth in Star Trek. Now, that being the case, replicators and holograms, holodecks, the holodeck is essentially a glorified it mimics and replicates or creates, not to confuse the terminology. Holodecks are a combination of replicator and transporter technology. Okay? Meaning, when you go to the holodeck, the person you're interacting with, the hologram guy you're interacting with, that individual is a hard light construct. That's what a hologram is in Star Trek, okay? Now, the chair you're sitting in is not a hard light construct. It would require too much energy and too much information in order to make that happen. Now, what doesn't require a lot of information, you're sitting on a replicated chair. The same kind of replicated chair that you would replicate for yourself right down in engineering or in the shuttle bay or in your quarters, whatever. So what happens when you turn it off? Okay? The same thing that happens when you're done eating your food in 10 forward or something else. It gets reintegrated or disintegrated, but it's a disintegration process that isn't destroying it. It breaks it down back into a pattern, period. Okay? So, because remember, replicated food is essentially transported pattern buffer food. You've programmed it, the computer understands it, and now it's data. So the same process that converts you into information to transport you, to teleport you places, is the same way that they process that same information to synthesize matter later, okay? All that being said, go back to the question. Could a portable holographic emitter create a working mass replicator able to replicate large real items? The answer is yes. Absolutely unequivocally, yes. Computer, next question.
What are your thoughts on utopian storytelling in Star Trek?
I love it. That's why Star Trek. I mean, really, that's what it's about. Let me know. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. So part of the reasons why New Trek. I hate that term, by the way. And New Trek, silly. Part of the reason why some people want to push back on it is because there is this idea. See, when I was first watching Star Trek, the original series, the Next Generation, they held up humanity, Earth people, Terrans, if you will, us. They held us up as having finally overcome all of the nonsense that was our shortcoming. Racism, ego, the acquisition of wealth and class and all these things. And once you got rid of those things, all you had left was the betterment of humanity and each other, okay? Again, you were stuck with the human condition. How do we improve it? All right? Now, when we face other species, the Cardassians, Klingons, Romulans, the Ferengi, we are seeing a parallel to ourselves today. Problems are shown as being alien in nature. Humans have overcome this. We're watching a reverse engineered telling of the story of us. We're seeing we're seeing how we could move forward in that context. It makes it wonderfully fun, and it's one of the reasons why I fell in love with Star Trek from the very beginning, is because it's showing me how things could be and sort of the path to that. And we get to see our everyday issues dealt with through the eyes of, ignorant and rose-colored glasses aliens and this and that. And then we come in as the humans who've already gotten past those problems. And we're like, let's tell you how we did this. Let's help you fix this and get to where we are. Anyways, so yeah, I love the utopian storytelling. I believe that's what makes Star Trek an odyssey versus making it, sort of sci-fi fantasy like Star Wars or something else like that. So yeah, there you go. Computer, next question.
What would you think about a 7 of 9 spin-off Star Trek series, and specifically the live-action reunion of Seven and Admiral Janeway?
That's what I want. I want that. I want that all day. I want a 7 of 9 show. Make her whatever. Give her command of a ship. Give whatever you want to do. It's unfortunate. I think we're probably not going to see much of her after Picard. And I think we could. I think it's wonderful. I think we absolutely should. So if nothing else, Picard has proven that there are final stories to tell and final kind of runs around the block, so to speak, that are needed. So yeah, we'll see how that all works out. And I think it's I want that show. I want the 7 of 9 spinoff show. Live action reunion of Seven and Janeway would be fine. Yeah, it'd be fine. They haven't had any issues since the original series, and that was only because of the circumstances that Jerry Ryan joined the series. But but yeah, so I think it'd be fine. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Seriously, let me know what you think about whether or not they would have an issue and whatnot. Let me also remind you, please like the video. Like the video if you're enjoying kind of the content I'm putting out there. If you're enjoying this video in general, like it for me. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this, because it tells me what kind of direction to lean in. Right now, the two fandoms I'm leaning into the heaviest are Doctor Who and Star Trek, because those are my two favorite fandoms, in the order of Star Trek and Doctor Who second. But yeah, I'd love to see them meet again. Computer, next question.
When was the last time you went to see a Star Trek movie on opening night?
When was the last time I went to see a Star Trek movie on opening night? I want to say I was originally going to say Star Trek 6 because I did see Undiscovered Country, which I did see in theaters opening night. But the truth is, it would most likely be the 2009 Star Trek, J.J. Abrams Star Trek. I didn't get to see Into Darkness on opening night, and I didn't get to see Beyond in opening night, but I did see the 2009 one on opening night, and that was really good. It was a lot of fun. So, what was your first? What was your the last Star Trek movie you saw in theaters? I'd love to know. Comment below. Totally would love to hear about your experience. Well, there you go. Now you know. And if knowing is half the battle, you are halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. So, what does that mean? That means it's the end of the show. But don't worry, we're going to be back next week with a little bit more of these Mr. Know-it-all files. So, never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all.